Apple on the Wall by Bj Patino. There's this man's photo on the wall of my father's office at home. You know, where father brings his work, where he doesn't look strange still wearing his uniform and colored breastplates, where to prove that he works hard. He also brought a photo of his boss whom he calls Apple. So Apple could, hang around on the wall behind him and look over his shoulders to make sure he's nappy and all. Father snapped at me once, caught me sneaking around his office at home, looking at the stuff on his wall. Handguns, plaques, a sword, medals, and a rifle. He told me that there was no place for a boy, only men, when he didn't really have to tell me because, that photo of Apple on the wall was already looking at me around. His eyes following me like he was that scary Jesus in the hallway, saying I know what you're doing. Apple on the Wall by Bj Patino.
Hi, martial law. It was a proclamation made by the late President Ferdinand Marcos, wherein the country was put into a military rule. But the martial law that was proclaimed by the late Marcos was in Philippine style. Martial law, Philippine style yon.
I was I was at home. Then I rushed to the office. My office was then in Reserve Affairs Office. Grabe.
Martial law, itin-declare ni Apo Marcos di martial law. Ada dito, 11 years old, dito 1972.
I was first year high school. First year high school kasi nag-graduate ako ng elementary noong April 1972. So I was at the Cabogo Institute noon. I was 12 years old. So according to the radio noon, yung bansa natin ay nanganganib na sa mga NPA. Supposedly na nagiging para sa mga NPA na ang bansa natin kung hindi po na-claim yan ni Marcos kasi si Jose Maria Sison siya ang namuno daw sa mga pangyayari ito na dahilan kung bakit i-proclaim ni Marcos ito in order to save the republic from the leftist.
September 21, 1972. Ubingag pa iti, 11 years old takiti. Ito bagbaga di politiko, di nga nagkakauna. Nagulo ka no ti Pilipinas so nga na-declare dito nga ako. Tintag, martial law.
Do you think that the martial law is effective, Lolo, and
Correct.
why?
Correct. Why? There was a widespread attempt for the leftists to take over the government. So Marcos came in, declared martial law. It was because of the attempt of the leftists to take over.
Alam mo, may mga panahon noon bago ang martial law na ang bahay namin sa Kabuga, because I live in the Barangay Quezon and that is within the poblasyon. Dahil ang bahay namin ay malapit sa bukid at malapit sa ilog, doon dumadaan ang mga kalaban noon, yung mga tinatawag nila ni NPA. At ang tawag sa kanila noon ay saka-saka. Doon sila dumadaan, may lipit. Lipit ang tawag doon sa small pathway na dinadaanan nila sa tabi ng bahay namin. At nakikita ko sila, sakbat-sakbat nila ang malalakas na armas. At sa mga panahong iyon, nire-raid pa nila ang munisipyo ng Kabugao. Gusto nilang i-overthrow nga ang government natin noon. So, natatakot kami, and that was before the martial law. But after the proclamation at nagkaroon na ng bagyong lipunan, yan, nawala na ang mga ito. So, ang sabi nila, kagagawa ni Marcos, pero I do not believe. Because what I know is that kawain ito ng mga leftists na gusto nilang patalsikin ang Pangulo mula sa kanyang trono as President of the Philippines.
Doon kami nga klase ti deta, pro-Marcos, pro-government ken anti-government. No, hindi ka na pro-government. Para kanya da siguro sa school aming ngalintag na ipakwada na naaramid da na nagtal na di Pilipinas dahil maantay martial law handa kaya't kuma halat at damo lata lumablaban hindi ka dagiti nga panahon at dabaming dalata gulgulo di handang rug kaya so nga duwa nga klase deta diya ka mo no nagsuccess mo sa
ano po yung mga pangyayaring nagustuhan nyo sa martial law at hindi nyo po nagustuhan?
Ay, wala akong hindi nagustuhan sa martial law. Kasi by means of President Marcos, he was able to transform the government from the old to bagong lipunan. Kasi nahinto na ang mga hindi magandang pangyayari noon. At talagang nagkaroon ng maraming pagbabago sa bansa tungo sa pagsulong at pag-unlad nito. Kaya lang sa mga leftist noon, sa mga kumukontra sa pamahalaan ni Marcos, sila ang nagsagawa ng mga bagay-bagay upang sa gayon ay ma-brainwash nila ang mga ibang tao. Kasi syempre sa mga panahong iyon may mga namamatay noon na pinapatay nila na sa kanilang sinasabi nila na kagagawan ng pamahalaan, pero I do not believe that because all I know is that yun ay mga propaganda na ginagawa ng mga leftist upang mapabagsak ang pamahalaan ni Marcos.
Kasi lang kinayat ko kinayat ko natal na. Talaga nga natal na. Kasi korpyo di. Iso nga natal na. Hanang mabaling ko talaga ibalod da ka no ka. Kasi ti ka kuha na ti martial law. No kontra ibalod da ka nga talaga no pasya-pasya ka na madanong ti oras diay korpyo na. Sumber ka. Iso nga natal na. Nakataltan na. Awan na pulos naglulugo. Tila madamdama gidi nga dag putputo bangun no kadagi military nga dam among kami ti kuno dadto ba ang mga amin namin nagiti military dadang nakaanda nakabasa kung so nga nakapkapoy lati kano makainom da nakapkapoy la control da dagi daduma ang amin so nga adda aga puso mo tam mga ko amin so nga adda mo agap abuso ng military di dito matay nga talaga nahangan ng amuang kaslakad jeti ko ay bagbagada di adumati mangibagbaga nga napagmagbadagas dala dito Ilocos namin talaga natal na to iti kadagiti nga panahon awan ni ang igdum ti paltog awan namin tila makaigam kan adda kuana the power na di military adulat ta military ti kalkalsada di kadagiti nga panahon.
Kung nangyari ang martial law ngayon, ano sa iyong palagay ang mangyayari sa ating bansa, ma'am?
kung nangyari ang martial law ngayon,
Yes, ma'am.
siguro kung martial law Philippine style at magaling ang Pangulo na dumala sa martial law ito, I know and I'm sure na mapapabilang tayo sa mga developed countries na hindi na lang developing kundi develop na siguro.
No, there's no point in another martial law. There's no, because the organization of nakikagkabulaw na ganun tayo.
Joe Bang season.
Nakikagkabulaw eh.
Joma season.
Juma season. It's already outlawed.
Para kanyak, han madirin niya kung kumano mabalinday dyan. Marsalon ta nakadya sila military control kami dahil dyan, kaya nakasauna tayo. Awan ti mabalin mga sibilyan. Basta dajalintag-lintag lata dyan. Ti mamaya na, awan ti dajalaan, ti maya na, awan nagluloko. Awan ti drugs, awan namin. Awan ti ang rampant nga kasladi na palabas nga mga darampant ti drugs, awan ti dyan. Control nga talaga. Dajalan ti Madina nang nagijay ko nang harutat tayo. Imbaga, medyo kapuso nga military nung makainom ta.
Well, this poem emphasizes the loyalty of the soldiers, and what I like about this poem entitled Up on the Wall is that it provides a glimpse of what martial law is like. Through the years, the issue of martial law has always confused me with the truth. There were a lot of arguments about this topic in the past, and I believe what the elders have said to me before. But years have passed, a lot of people still haven't gotten over about this era, and of course the Marquesas. And so I thought myself to search for the truth and not only to rely about or on what my parents have said. Even though until now, the elderly still talks saying that the news is fake, and they only say bad things about the Marquesas, about the martial law. But if I were to think of what they are talking about, news reporters, news channels, and news programs are just useless if it is so. But aren't we relying on the news at this moment to grasp facts about things circulating in this country, or the elderly saying that the exhaustion of the reporters doing their job is just unnecessary just because they're one-sided and they're not prepared to accept the truth and how bad martial law was? So, for me, I perceive that the control of the former president, Marcos, whom I thought was not cruel, or whom I considered the martial law era as a golden era, but turned out to be the dark chapter of the people who are trying to fight for their rights, for the human rights, but were turned out to be molested. So that is what I think about the poem, especially how I view the martial law.